And the man himself, looking pretty fly in his Mouse Sports jersey, it is Big Gabe.
Even
I was going to say Big Gabe, also known as HeRoMaRinE, but no, I'm just going to go with Big Gabe.
Honestly, I think that is more his name now than HeRoMaRinE. I was pretty interested to see even his GLHF was in capitals because everything Gabe does is big. But this game so far, starting off very, very normal here on Everdream. Both players keeping all their buildings at home. And I think Gabe is very much the kind of player who's going to play this out kind of standard. I think the onus is on maybe Drogo to be creative in this series. What do you think, Ben?
Like Drogo for me, like we've talked a lot about Big Gabe, and we always will because, you know, he's just so big.
Gabe.
But, yeah, he's Gabe. But like Drogo, he's never been the strongest in PvT. Like the DreamHack that he won, and I mean, this was some time ago. It was because, or when I say it's not just because, but his PvT was definitely amplified because there was adepts that could two-shot, like they were two-shotting SCVs, two-shotting Marines. It was definitely a bit of a broken patch, and given that he didn't have to worry about PvT anymore, it meant he could kind of fly by because PvP and PvZ have always been damn good. When it comes to playing against Gabe, though, mixing it up a little bit, I've never known Drogo as this cheesy player. Like, one of his strengths in PvZ is the fact that he knows how to kill people. He's got his formula down. He's very good with charged lots and Archons. When it comes to PvP, he's kind of got his formula down again. He likes to just make a lot of Stalkers attack, and then he can go into Colossus and do weird things afterwards. PvT, though, I've never sure if he's got his formula down how he wants it to be. Here, going for a shield battery very early means he's going to just send an adept across the map. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I do think Drogo, when his micro is good, his Blink Stalker and Adept micro is absolutely some of the best we have in Europe. He's able to find damage and trades very well. And if he can get a death ball of Archons and Colossus, he's an expert in using that army to its fullest and trading efficiently and finding those death ball-esque fights. My concern is if HeRoMaRinE will let him get there, because Gabe is just so good at eking out small advantages, taking just little victories over you and eventually choking you out of the game, and then insulting you and making you feel tiny. But this game, it does look like we're seeing, is this going to be DT drop ban?
I'm not sure
just
yet.
Blink.
So my first guess would be Blink. Like, Drogo's very good with the Blink Stalkers. He also likes that unit a lot. But it's going to be Dark Shrine to start off the series. So
yes.
I think one thing that you also always have to note is HeRoMaRinE, he streams a ton. And even though he might think he mixes it up a lot, very often what he does on stream is what he does in tournament games, which also just makes you think like, man, this guy beats me and I know what he's going to do to me. And you called it, like, is Drogo going to be the one to try and mix it up a little bit? Dark Shrine, and he's going Raven build of all things.
Yeah, this is very nice from HeRoMaRinE, playing for that Raven, which does slow the game down, as you pointed out, but is just going to be great in this scenario. Now, the DTs can still find damage. Of course, a Raven can only be in one place at one time, and DTs with the Prism can move around and maybe strike and find something here. But this is exactly what HeRoMaRinE needed to not take too much damage. Behind this, we do see Blink coming in from Drogo, falling back on Old Faithful here. Gateway's coming in, and I imagine we'll see Drogo push out for a third base in the next minute.
Okay, does this Reaper spot the Warp Prism? I think it did, because that Reaper immediately moved afterwards. So seeing that Warp Prism be the kind of move out thing for your opponent, that's already a bit weird. So I think HeRoMaRinE's going to be feeling quite comfortable about this.
Reaper's going to come in here and just confirm exactly what is going on. He sees Blink on the way. Of course, the Dark Shrine has been proxied and is at the other side of the map. So that is not going to be scouted. Now, HeRoMaRinE seeing this, do you think this paints a picture that this is just standard Blink opening? Haha, nothing else? No, of course not. Gabe too prepared.
Yeah, so, okay, the Blink opening. Oh, this was a very nice scan as well. Oh, get in there. Oh, no.
Does he have enough energy?
By the way, I've seen Gabe do this before. He will focus a unit and friendly fire. Oh, did you see it? He was actually going for his SCV there.
Yeah, he's going for it.
But he gets it anyway. The missile turret does finish. But Gabe, we've seen this before. He actually focus fires his own SCV where he knows the blur is and kills the Dark Shrine.
Savage. Gabe with that German efficiency. Getting it done no matter what. Now, behind this, Drogo has taken a third base at a very healthy time. He has added a robotics bait and a forge. His blink is finishing up. This Archon drop can be very annoying. We might just see an interference matrix to just stop it. No, instead gonna get the damage done, but all is gonna be well here. Archon drop, a nice fallback if you don't get any damage from these DTs, but it doesn't look like they're gonna find any damage either. And behind this, Gabe is really getting everything he needs going.
Yeah, he is. And Drogo's third is definitely later than what a normal third would be, obviously going for the DT tech. Drogo's also getting charged behind this, getting Colossus tech. It's hard to deal damage. Drogo's doing a decent job focusing the SCVs here, getting out of dodge as well.
Colossus are now on the way here. More gateways being added from Drogo. Drogo's doing a great job of keeping his opponent back, right? Gabe's not been able to send a dropout or anything just yet. He's not been able to really find any damage, send his Raven for harassment or anything odd like that. He has been kept purely at home. Now, Gabe still has his... is he now getting his third CC? Yeah. It's a little late, right?
I mean, it's definitely late if you're going for a third, but this is very much like the two-base pressure play. He just wanted to make sure he didn't take any damage, so it's not late by mistake, it's just late by choice. He wants to deal damage to his opponent, slow him down, potentially kill him with this push, and going into Colossus tech after already committing to DTs, like, that Raven's so good at countering both of these choices.
Yeah, and Gabe has a very big army right now. 65 to 42 army supply. The Colossus are out, but Extended Thermal Lance is not. And these tanks are going to be sieged up in a position that makes them very hard to get attacked at all, right? If he can get them up just on this ramp, we can't really surround them. And Gabe actually really going forward here. Interference Matrix onto the Colossus. He's going to try and target that down. We might see a auto turret come down as well here from the Raven possibly soon. No, he's going to keep interference matrices onto the Colossus, and Gabe has found a great position splitting the army in half.
It's a gnarly spot. Drogo is actually moving in now that the interference matrix is off, and big shots going down by Drogo. Lots of AoE, but the tanks, they hold strong. Also the focus fire on the Colossus, and Drogo, he melted in the blink of an eye there. GG, Big Gabe takes the first map.
Both players looking relatively relaxed. No headbangs, no desk smashes just yet. Drogo very calm and in the zone. Of course, that is just map 1 of a best of 5. That was HeRoMaRiNE's map choice as well. So now we move on to Death Aura for our second map. And yeah, I mean, as we said, it was just very, very solid in defense from HeRoMaRiNE. He took absolutely no damage to the opening. He got a load of stuff. He went across and killed him, Ben.
That's the thing, right? Like, it doesn't look flashy. There was no, like, twirling about or anything. It was just clean. Like, whenever I think of HeRoMaRiNE, and I always bring this up, and given that Tony Hawk's just re-released again, if he was a Tony Hawk's character, like the skateboarder, you know, they all have different
Chad
stats.
Musker.
He would be full on, like, 9s and 10s across the board. Like, he's very, very good all round, very consistent. And in that game, yeah, he just didn't take any damage, moved across the map and killed him. And it was just, that is very, very HeRoMaRiNE-esque.
Yeah, now we do move into our second map, Death Aura. Following that, if we go a little bit further, will be Eternal Empire, Ice and Chrome, and ending on Pillars of Gold. So if we go the distance, that would be really fun to see. But for now, we get into our second map here. And what does Drogo need to do to mix it up? Does he just need to find a bit more damage in his opening?
Yeah, I mean, if you go for a DT opening and, you know, it gets not only scouted, but absolutely thwarted by your opponent, then you try and do the Archon drop. To be fair, HeRoMaRiNE did everything perfect against it. So maybe Drogo now, like, if you're going down the list of things that you shouldn't do, you just add that to the list. That being said, that'd be a sick mind game. If he's like, I'll never be prepared twice, like, but we are getting into Death Aura now, which will be second map of the series. And guys, spawning over in the top left-hand side, as I read Terran, it is HeRoMaRiNE.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand side, representing Rage Race Gaming, once again, it's PtitDrogo.
I'm definitely curious though, because this opening that Drogo did, so there was a very early shield battery in his mineral line, in his main mineral line, which means that the Reaper can never deal damage. But HeRoMaRinE never went for that damage in the first place. He just went for delaying the Adept on his like march across the map. So there's a lot of things that Drogo did just to be safe, but by being safe, sometimes that is being totally unsafe in StarCraft 2.
I don't know. Part of me thinks maybe it'd be good for Drogo to fall back to macro to try and get to a death pool army, but it is very disconcerting as a player when you play someone like HeRoMaRinE who can be relentless, who will bring all of his units together. You know, that's what Gabe's known for. He gets all of his Marines, all of his Marauders, all of his tanks, and he just hits you really, really hard with a wave of attacks. So far, this game very normal. We see the Cybernetics core before the Nexus. Safe here against that initial Reaper when the Adept will come out, if that is a choice here, of course, by Drogo. Drogo trying to slow down this CC, but nothing too exceptional here. And we should be seeing either a Marine or the Factory go down immediately after this Reaper.
Yeah, look, a tiny bit of a slowdown. Maybe that's enough of a slowdown for Drogo to be like, you know what? I'm actually going to chrono boost an Adept and get it out straight away. And he is going for it. Whereabouts is the rally point? Okay, it's nowhere scary, so probably nowhere across the map this time. And HeRoMaRinE did go for Barracks first, so it's Reaper, then a Marine. This is what I've seen him pretty much like be his go-to for a long time in this matchup. The Reaper's just checking for proxies and what have you.
Yeah, Stargate here from Drogo, so he is mixing it up, going into a more traditional opener, Stargate and Blink being the two most standard PvT openers here. And you'd imagine this has got to be an Oracle, right? I don't think Drogo's going to go and just blow us away and suddenly start producing a Void Ray. Phoenix could happen, but I feel like Drogo's style has never really been tended towards the Rotty style of playing with a lot of Phoenixes and things. I'd certainly be expecting an Oracle here.
Yeah, and HeRoMaRinE, by the way, when I say HeRoMaRinE, doesn't save the SCV, could have maybe popped it into the CC, but the big deal here is he finished the CC, and Big Abe is actually going for a third CC as well on the high ground, so definitely a mix-up of builds from him. Doesn't really want to lose the Reaper here. 1 health. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, and of course, Gabe here pushing up is able to get a bit of information and maybe take down this Adept, trying to get that kill there. It's going to lose another SCV. Bit of a shame here for Mouse Sports Terran player. Meanwhile, Raise Your Edges Drogo just getting that Oracle, as we sort of said, adding on a Twilight Council behind us, a few more gates, everything normal. Phoenix, wow.
Yeah, there was a few weird things there, like sacrificing 2 Adepts for 2 SCVs. I don't think that's ever worth it for a Protoss, and it kind of gives away the fact that you're willing to sack Adepts, which to me in my brain tells me that it's not going to be like an Adept follow-up, but it's probably going to be some like, why were you so willing to get rid of these units or throw them away? Most likely a Stargate follow-up. HeRoMaRinE is going to get the full scout off here, but he also has the Oracle show up in his main base, which, wait, what the hell happened? Oh, did he get Widowmined?
Wait, what happened?
He got a Widowmine on the Oracle there. You see the Widowmine that's above the refinery? Yeah. That did block the Oracle, so not good for Drogo.
No, Drogo with another rough start. This is twice in a row that his opening gambit just has not paid off. He is getting Blink, adding on his Robo, going into that standard pack of his third down once again at a very healthy time of in between the 4 and 5 minute mark, generally where you aim for it. Drogo is definitely, again though, a little bit on the back foot. Now Phoenixes are cool, might be able to find something. Really doesn't want to lose them though. Has to be very careful of these Marines and of course the mine that we know exists. Was it just for 1 mine? It was 1 mine made just in case that Oracle came in. That's so sick from Gabe.
So if we were to do an interview with Drogo, just based on this game, I would love to hear what the single Phoenix was for. Because 1 Phoenix feels like the most useless thing in the world. I guess it does deny if a Raven flies in, which I have seen HeRoMaRinE use the Raven just for harass purposes, but yeah, very, very peculiar. Yeah,
I agree. Of course, 1 Phoenix can't stop a drop. The medevacs just boost on by, completely pretend it's not there. They don't do a lot of damage singularly. We do see Gabe is moving up in his tech tree here, getting his eBay, a few more racks, getting Stim started, and Bio is flowing. Robotic Spade down once again from Drogo, sticking to that tried and true Colossus style, most likely. Might look into getting Disruptors. 1-1 on the way here for Drogo too. And once again, Ben, I've said it before, we're in that calm before the storm where both players are just powering up a little bit, getting ready to fight in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, Drogo's definitely done a good job of just chrono boosting out probes, because even though he was against a 3cc build, which is a greedy build, he's up to 63 probes against like 53, 54-ish, which is that's something that's definitely going to keep him in this game. The thing is, it's very weird for me, because we heard in Clem's interview that he feels he has to do something a bit cheeky, a bit cheesy to slow down a Protoss. Like, just playing a standard game with them is a bit suicidal. So yeah. Gabe we see doing the very, very standard stuff, and he's just kind of letting Drogo put himself behind by just throwing stuff at him and it going wrong, which very funny to see the different takes on this matchup.
I guess Gabe may be feeling that little bit more confident in his Terran play right now, and in his general ability against Drogo. If you do feel you are the favorite, and we said that probably Gabe was the favorite, then you don't want to take too many risks. He's probably confident he can just play it out and win with superior macro, micro, and decision making. 1-1 is completing here for our Protoss relatively soon, just +1 here for Gabe, who only has that one eBay down. But his army's starting to get a little bit scary, and this is where Gabe is a threat, right? When he brings all the units together, as we can see starting to happen at the top side of the map right now, he scans and sees what he's up against, excuse me, and starts to move across the map.
And he's moving out with a really big force here. Like, this is a lot of tanks, and that Raven, like, this is almost exactly the same as the map previous, just he went about getting here in a very different way. And this tank count, it's very hard. I like this positioning by Drogo, because you don't expect him to be there. But look, HeRoMaRinE almost sniffs this out, and he's like sieging up before anything happens. He's brought the boys as well, actually.
Yeah, the boys are here. Feedback goes in onto Raven. That's very, very nice, because that gives the Colossus free reign. Incredible feedback there. Don't see that so often. And now Gabe a little bit stuck. He lost a lot of his units very early on. Now the SCVs can still buffer. The Colossus count is still only at 2, but with a super battery here, I don't know if this is a good attack for Gabe.
I don't know either. His supply just plummeted. 15 SCVs falling. The one Phoenix coming in to lift the tanks. Now the shield battery overcharge is kind of running out here at the end, but this, like, HeRoMaRinE really wanted to kill his opponent there, and he hasn't done it. Third Colossus now joining the fray.
Yeah, the third Colossus meaning all the more danger right now for Gabe. Drogo pushing forward on all fronts. He's going to absolutely clean up the tank count as well. Now, only one tank will remain. Once this one goes down, the Archon standing strong. His Colossus offering so much damage. Needs to keep him safe here, even targeting down some of the medevacs. And GG! We'll go into map 3 at 1-1.
We certainly are, and we saw a bit of a reaction there from Drogo, a little bit of fist pump, you know, being happy with himself, because that game started off with an Oracle loss, 2 Adepts for 2 SCVs, like, it wasn't looking that good, and guys, we'll see what happens in the rest of the series right after this break.
Welcome back to DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters Full. My name is Grant, and I am joined by Benjamin the Muslim Baker, and we are halfway, possibly, well, at least 2/5 of the way through a best of 5 between HeRoMaRinE and Drogo. Ben, I mean, so far, so good, right?
So far, so good, yeah, for sure. I'm definitely a little bit surprised with how that game ended up, and I was a little bit surprised that HeRoMaRinE kind of went up that ramp, honestly. Like, I know he probably wasn't expecting Drogo to react as well as he did, but still, it felt a little bit bull-headed by the Terran, but just very, very clean and properly handled by Drogo. I love the patience on pulling back the Colossus and keeping them next to that battery overcharge for as long as he could.
Yeah, it felt like pushing up that ramp was kind of the StarCraft 2 equivalent of him attempting to make pizza on stream. It just didn't go that well. And then he had catch-up when all of his units died. Now we are loading into Eternal Empire, a nice big map, hopefully for a nice big game, featuring a nice big Gabe. We're sitting at 1-1 in the series. It's going to be... I'm excited.
It is lovely that every series features a big Gabe in this series. Anyhow, spawning in the bottom left, playing for Team Razor Edge, it is PtitDrogo.
And his opponent in the top right, playing for Mouse Sports, it's HeRoMaRinE.
In my eyes, it's always a bit of a wounder when an opening works out almost as good as it can, like getting the one Widow Mine and killing the Oracle, and then you still lose the game because, like, pro gamers are very, you know, casters have talked about these pro gamers being so finicky about being like calling games over based on losing like one Ling here against the Reaper and stuff. But losing an Oracle, that's such a big deal for Drogo.
Yeah,
like, he'd never remade it because it's an expensive unit. He had single Phoenix, which turned out to be really good at lifting up the tanks, by the way. But
that was it. That was its purpose, Ben. I refuse to believe anything else. That Drogo, when he hit his head, he like saw into another dimension, and he knew this push was coming. So he made that one Phoenix. Now, this game, everything is opening super standard once again. Nobody proxying here. Both of these players, I think, are honorable macro players. Although, you know, when the time comes, we all have a cheeky Void Ray in the opponent's natural. But right now, Nexus going down. CC will start up relatively soon, and getting ready for at least a couple of minutes of StarCrafting.
Oh, wow. The pro... Yeah, I was about to say, like, did you see Drogo's reaction as well? A little bit of a head tilt, and like you might be thinking, oh, that's not a big deal, right? Very often, if you delay the CC by even just a few seconds, especially if you go for Cybernetics Core before Nexus, if you rush the Adept across the map, you can actually cancel or kill the SCV building the CC. Whereas now, Drogo is probably thinking, and by his reaction, it's not going to work out like that, so he can't go for that. Although, still going for the shield battery in his main base, so maybe one of these things where he's like, I've got to go with the plan, man. I've got to go with the plan.
Yeah, he's going to shade and send that down. Now, of course, the Reaper is going to be coming in very shortly, but won't be able to do anything with that battery. It is a bit of a committal, 100 minerals at this point, but nothing, you know, it's not win or lose to do this. We see here the Reaper going to be annoying, but nothing else, just draining some energy and making silly noises.
Yeah, whenever I scout this, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be the Adept coming across the map, I never think about leaving the Reaper in the main base like that. I always kind of rush home. But look, that time that he didn't buy, that's such a big deal with this Adept, because it arrives and the CC's done. And okay, HeRoMaRiNE's actually opting for the same build again with the third CC here. That is unusual, I would say.
I mean, maybe playing the map a little bit, Eternal Empire, that bigger map. We do see a Twilight Council here for Drogo. Robo going down. I can't expect him to go DT again. But then again, maybe he goes, well, I didn't do it last game. No, it is just going to be Blink here. So, Drogo going for, again, a very standard opening. Probably only going to go up to 2 or 3 gateways here and take a third base at about 4:30 and play it out from there. But yeah, quick free CC here from HeRoMaRiNE. I mean, it's brave. It takes big cojones to do that twice in a row.
Certainly does. So our observer just showed that the Reaper did go down, meaning this massive ledge to your main base. It's oh, but this Hellion, is he going to be able to get the job done? Full wall off, so Drogo's kind of selling it as if he is doing something like a DT opening, and now that Reaper's dead, he can't get into the main base and confirm, so maybe a little bit cautious to start up the engineering bay now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I mean, Cyclone as well. I mean, it's the kind of unit that you do pick up, but it's very, very safe. Sometimes you might see a Terran skip that in favor of eking out a few more units here. Another Rax going down is going to be bio play from Gabe. You don't expect anything else, really. Finally, the Hellion, though, does get in. Such great patience from HeRoMaRinE to not throw it in too early. Gets that full read, and the YOLO Hellion does its job, and then some. Might even just be able to drive out peacefully. No, it doesn't look that way.
I was about to say, it's doing a full tour of Drogo's base. Very
well, get the worker.
If it did get that worker, dude, that would have been... Oh, that'd have made you tilt, man. That'd have made you tilt.
How did the physics work of a flamethrower down a cliff? It would have had to, like, lean up.
Hellions are... I mean, rather...
Flexible.
Terrans are proper high-tech humans, Grant,
Well,
you know?
That's true, that's true, that's true.
Far beyond you and I.
Definitely me. Now, Robotics Bay is down here for Drogo. Blink about to finish up. Observer coming in is going to be able to get a very good read here. Unless Gabe is real switched on, he could scan and take that down with a lock on. Not going to be the case just yet. Oh, yes it is. No, it's not.
What is it going to be, Grant? What is it going to be? I don't think he has energy available.
No, he doesn't.
Otherwise
he wanted to, I think, because he pulled the Cyclone, right? He didn't have the energy. And now Gabe has a few units out. He's got a couple of tanks, and he's going to move towards landing that third base very safely here on Eternal Empire. And, yeah, +1 on the way. Only one eBay from Gabe right now. Double Forge coming down for Drogo means Gabe may fall behind in upgrades here, but right now it's still early days.
Yeah, and we do see Gabe has changed it up a little bit. So even though it was the 3cc build, the follow-up after that is he's absolutely switched out the factory. So he won't be producing more tanks, at least not for the time being. And he used the factory to make the reactor for the starport. So it's going to be a much quicker tempo-based game by him. Lots more bio, lots more medevacs out much earlier. And whether it's a big push, a big all-in or not, right now we just got the 2 tanks for safety.
Yeah. Colossus already on the way here from Drogo. And what do you think about Gabe just starting to drop everywhere? I do think on this map especially, it's very good. There's a lot of dead space between the third and the main here of Drogo. Hallucinated Phoenix coming out. But yeah, what do you think about drop play here?
It's very hard on this map. Like this nice triangular formation between your 3 bases. If we look at Drogo's vision, so he's got both the middle spots. He's got the big observer to the top of his base. He's got everything on the bottom secured. I also love this. So this was a proper old school play where you build pylons around the map kind of thing. Because if you lose a pylon, so be it. It's 100 minerals. You might be like, damn, that was bad by me. But better than losing like 20 probes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, this is cool. Drogo really playing the vision game. Like, again, it's insane how much he sees. Now, finally, he's going to be pushed back from one Xelnaga tower. And he is going to start pulling some of his units home, but Drogo continuing to scout with hallucinations as well. Really knows exactly what's coming his way. Charge is now finishing up, so his army gaining that little bit more long-term fighting skill, where the Zealots can force micro from the Terran. Colossus count going up to 3 already, so if Gabe were to push, he could move into the same scenario as he did last game, and it does look like he is going for a pretty big push here.
Yeah, Gabe, he went back into tank production. So stopped the factory from making tanks for a little bit, just to make the reactor for the starport. And he's going to resume upgrades while taking a 4th CC. It's a very middle-of-the-road build, a bit of everything by Gabe.
Scan on the high ground. Gabe does have a pretty formidable force over here, threatening the 4th position, so be it here, of Drogo. A blink forward, very aggressive, and Gabe goes to capitalize. His tank's offering so much damage here on top of the Protoss gateway units. Gabe, for now, though, knows he can't close out off of something such as that. So he's just going to back off, knowing that his 4th base is on the way. He is being counterattacked, I believe, up in the north here. I'm not sure what it is. A few Zealots trying to run by there, taken care of by the reinforcements of Gabe. And wow, okay. We have what prism speed coming in here? Yeah,
this game, like, for this moment in time, they're equal on upgrades, 1-1. But Drogo's going to be etching ever so further ahead in that, because he's got double forge on the way, starting up 2-2. Warp prism speed also is going to make life quite difficult, but this is a fight that I don't think Drogo really wants to be taking, but he's going for it regardless.
No, the tanks in the front do go down quite quickly. Drogo has Colossus in the back doing a lot of damage here, but the army is very Marauder heavy. Zealots are mainly fighting up to the east side here, and the Colossus have been collapsed upon. There's just a few Marauders wailing on these Colossus, and they will all fall. And I think that was a big mistake from Drogo. He really did not need to take that fight.
No, he didn't, and I know, like, they both probably didn't expect the other one to be there, but Drogo is now 60 supply behind his opponent, and all the timing windows that he had where it's like, yeah, I'm going to be good here, man. I'm going to have the Warp Prism with speed. Now he's got no Warp Prism on the field. He's trying to go back into Disruptors here. Like, he's really just hoping that HeRoMaRinE is doing what he's doing, which is not attacking him, and I don't think HeRoMaRinE realizes how far ahead he is right now.
Yeah, the army supply, I mean, it's triple almost right now for HeRoMaRinE. Resources lost, HeRoMaRinE is about 3,000 ahead. And in a game where there's been so few units lost, that's incredible how effective Gabe's army has been. But yeah, I think you're right. I just don't, I mean, Drogo after that fight threw down a 4th base. That is ambitious. That is ballsy. To go, I've just lost my entire army. I've got nothing. I'll take a base. He is trying to add on his second robo, trying to get Colossus production up as well as the Disruptors. And Gabe may be giving him a little bit too much space here.
I mean, Gabe's definitely respecting his opponent, but when you talk about that 4th base by Drogo, the thing is, he scouted the 4th base earlier with his run-by with the Zealots of his opponent. So it's like, do I sit by and just get further behind by not being greedy and risky? He has to do something.
Yeah, now we do see Gabe trying to pressure this 4th base, but with Disruptors here, it does look like he's gonna turn around and maybe look for a different angle up towards the 3rd or the natural possibly. Gabe hasn't got all of his units here right now. His army is very, very strong, and a lot of it, I believe, probably still at home. Or is he parade pushing here? No, he's got a lot of it actually. The Vikings are going to be able to do a lot here to the Colossus, but Super Battery goes down.
Has to be careful about these Disruptor shots, though. I mean, that one, HeRoMaRinE does a good job of dodging, but another Disruptor does show up. It was kind of marching a bit forward there. So Drogo, he is getting 3-3, so he does have that late game option available, and it's very hard to kill your opponent on this map, which we're seeing Drogo do a good job of just bouncing between these 2 bases. Oh, it's
the EMPs that are available are, of course, enhanced with the Shockwave upgrade. And advanced ballistics already on the way here for Gabe. My concern right now for Drogo is that his tech isn't really advancing. His upgrades are great, but what is his answer right now to Liberators and to these free and +2 air upgrades? 3 Liberators being created at a time. His Stalker count is 7, and sure, he has Blink, but it's not enough for the Liberators. He doesn't have an air transition ready. He just has no real answer for what is to come here from Gabe.
No, you're totally right. Like, Gabe's done a really good job of just kind of leaning on his advantage here. He got all the tech that he wanted. Liberator range is almost done here as well. What's the Liberator count actually at? 0 Liberators on the field, but Gabe again just making Drogo's life hard here. Even though he is teching up to DTs and stuff, he's now attacking in multiple spots, and Drogo has to recall to his Nat.
Yeah, meanwhile, we can see Gabe pushing in over here towards the center of the map. And if that recall is wrong, Gabe will be able to punish. Now, Drogo's done a good job of splitting his army successfully here. He is quite supply blocked, though, having to build 3 pylons right now. 3-3 is getting a little bit closer here for Drogo, and it will finish before that of his opponent. But we now see HeRoMaRinE just going to pounce on his base, and he might be able to take this down.
Yeah, the one moment Drogo wasn't defending his base, it was boom. Yeah, that was a nice split, but decent Disruptor shots. But, Drogo, the Colossus caught out in the middle here, and there's no Stalkers to really save them, and Drogo's just getting pushed back. One mistake in positioning, and HeRoMaRinE dominated him.
Yeah, absolutely incredible pouncing there by Gabe. Now, Dark Shrine is on the way, and when behind, we all know the adage. We have Cloak coming in for Ghosts, and 3-3 getting very close for our Terran player here. And yeah, it's looking a little scary right now.
This is always the sign of a good Terran as well. Like, I see +3 air weapons on the way. Like, when did he go about getting that? He had the long game plan in mind. Look at these Vikings just reigning supreme as well, taking out really expensive units. The resources lost have as well. 15k for Drogo against 8k of HeRoMaRinE. It's not meant to be that cost efficient. And Drogo, he's taking a fight. He has to try. But HeRoMaRinE just too good this game. HeRoMaRinE 2-1 ahead in this series now.
things looking all Gabe throughout the final moments of that game. He's able to string together now his second win and will be up at match point. Just one more map and he will advance to the semi-finals, sending Drogo to the losers bracket. We will be moving on to our fourth map, which will be Ice and Chrome very shortly, guys. Thank you for sticking with us here at DreamHack Full. And yeah, it's Gabe just too solid, too prepared, and too on top of his positioning in that game.
That was definitely, well, besides the first game, which he won as well, he looked super clean, super solid in that game. He showed us the full game plan, the scouting, just reacting to everything perfect as well. And also his late game control, he has absolutely stepped that up massively. He was dodging disruptors really well, setting up his liberators super well. Even the poking with like just the air units, not the bio as well. It was all just very, very clean by Gabe. And the fact that he's not too scared of just being like, okay, my attack isn't going to work out, but I will play patiently. And just very good game plan all around by him. And it's beautiful to see that even though he is Mr. Consistent, he's also starting to reach a level where he was consistently like, you know, around the 10th best in Europe, but now he's consistently getting higher and higher. Yeah, no, if you'd have asked me in that game, if I went into that completely blind, you showed me a replay with the names blurred, who is it dodging these disruptors? I'd have said Ken. I'd have said maybe Euthermal. Gabe is someone I've never thought had like pristine, perfect parent splitting micro. And I don't mean that as a criticism whatsoever, because there's those couple of players I mentioned take it to a whole new level. And in that game, HeRoMaRinE was up there with him, man. His micro was immense. Big, you could say. But yeah, like he's playing really well. And, you know, it's very easy when you're on the opposite side of that to be like, oh man, he's making a lot of errors. But Big Gabe's forcing this out of Drogo. Like he didn't sit still in any one position. It was like, I'm going to attack your third. No, I'm going to attack your natural. He forced the recall at the natural. And then he tried to attack the third again, tried to attack the fourth. There was a lot of hopping around, just making Drogo's life very uncomfortable. And spawning over in the top right-hand side, play for team Raise Your Edge, it is PtitDrogo.
And his opponent in the bottom left, representing Mouse Sports, he is the Terran player from Germany. It's Big Gabe HeRoMaRinE.
It's also we have to be super fair as well. Like that game was very much kind of decided by that fight that happened on the east side of the map, where Drogo is obviously in a really bad spot, and then any choice that he makes feels like, oh, how do I defend this when I'm 50 supply down? And I think a lot of people can be very harsh on people that you know, you make a blunder, and then it's like, okay, trying to make the perfect move from this point on every step of the way when your opponent's also just kind of leaning on you. It's very, very difficult.
It's crazy to think, Ben. This could be our last map of DreamHack EU today. If HeRoMaRinE wins this, we will be done with all of our series. So hopefully we can get a game 5 here, extend this into the night. Let's have an hour-long game, just to keep us sharp.
Yeah, it's been a really good day, actually. Most of the games have been pretty damn awesome. And none of the series have been super duper one-sided. I guess Serral versus Elazer was a little bit one-sided, but Elazer still didn't go down without taking a map. And he also showcased that he was pretty damn well prepped for that series. Like, his plan was good. And yeah, even Mana against Reyna, I know he's had a tough time against Zerg and he's been vocal in the past about it, but also came in swinging. No clean sweep tonight.
No, and that's really cool to see in these best of fives, knowing how good these players are in Europe compared to one another and compared to the best in the world, which we're very blessed to have two players who have a claim on that right now, being Serral and Reyna. Now, this game, we are seeing everything pretty standard so far, Ben. No quick third CC just yet. Factory, of course, coming down first. Bunker going down here. But the CC was slowed down quite a lot. And I'll be seeing the Adept go. I think it actually wasted some time on the Reaper.
The opening for Gabe every time has been like this. There's barracks first, and then getting the Reaper out, then the Marine. But the follow-ups have been a little bit different, which if you're scouting this and you're seeing this and it's like, okay, but what is it going to be behind this? Because he has definitely showcased that he's done very different stuff after this, right? Like the 3cc opening. He's done that twice now in the series.
Yeah, Hellion coming in to try and get that deep dive into the main of Drogo and really figure out what's going on. We do see Twilight Council, we do see Robo, so it could be Blink or it could be DTs once again when all is on the line. Will Drogo throw down a Dark Shrine? I think he's probably just going to sit here and go Blink, if I'm honest with you, Ben.
Yeah, and you're right here, Grant. So he has the 2 Marines, the Reaper and the Hellion. Maybe he's going to use the Reaper and the Hellion like Clem did earlier today. That would be really, really cool. It was nice to pop open the wall and then the Hellion fly through into the main. This opening of all the openings that Drogo's done so far, though, this is definitely one of the more standard ones that if you're a Terran on the ladder, especially high GM like HeRoMaRinE is, he's going to be pretty comfortable with dealing with something like this.
Yeah, this is the kind of build you expect to see all the time, right? And this is where Drogo is most comfortable with the standard stuff. We've said a few times, he's not really a really cheesy Protoss player. He is very good if the game goes long and he can build up that big army that he's so good at controlling. But so far, Gabe has just been able to punish him and snowball these leads. We do see a Raven opening once again here, and I like this from Gabe because it has been a Colossus transition pretty much every game, and that Raven also just offering a lot of safety and everything that Drogo's done, the Raven has been able to have an effect on.
Super fun as well to see how units come in and out of fashion. Like for a long time, people have looked at tanks being like, you don't really want them at all. They're just, you want 2 for defense just to survive. But Gabe's been showing this series and in a few other series, and we've seen other Terrans as well, that tanks are a pretty decent go-to as long as you keep on making them and you go for these like timing windows and stuff.
Observer. And the threat here will end up going down to the power of the Raven. Stim on the way. And again, we do see that quick robotics bay coming out of Drogo. His third down at about the 4.5 minute mark. Drogo just doing the same as he's done really throughout the series. He's just going to try and execute better here on Ice and Chrome.
And we're 5 minutes into this game, or 5 minutes 20 even, and the Nexus is halfway done. So it's not the earliest Nexus ever. Drogo committing to a lot of tech here with 4 gases up and running. So there's charge on the way, Robo, facility almost done, the single forge also. Getting a bit of everything in every direction here is Drogo.
Yeah, I mean, Drogo's army right now is just a few Stalkers and a couple of Sentries and then a death. Really not made anything, instead concentrating on his tech and his probe count. Sitting at 56 probes, very healthy amount continuing. Oh no, sorry, he's not producing them right now. But his third Nexus finishing up, I think we'll probably see him keep building those probes pretty soon, and that is the case. Extended Thermal Lance +1 and charge, as you previously mentioned, coming in. And our Terran player just doing what he's been doing, running off of the single eBay for now, getting his upgrades going, and probably moving in for an attack on the 3rd or 4th base in a minute or 2.
Yeah, I think Drogo, upon scouting that with the Observer, seeing the 3rd is not the super early fast one, he's probably like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to die immediately. Like, I'm not super far behind against, like, the greed either. And the fact that he's up to 60 probes and his 3rd base is already up and running, this is probably the most comfortable that Drogo will have felt this whole series.
Yeah, he didn't try any shenanigans and he didn't lose or fall behind from that. Some nice poke coming in here from Drogo, picks off a Marauder or 2, doesn't lose any Stalkers, which is nice, and slows down this push, most importantly. We do see the tanks load up to move across the map quickly, but they are vulnerable, yeah, and forced to unload. This is nice from Drogo. Just buy every moment that you can. Allow yourself to get that extra Colossus, because he is only currently sitting on 1. Allow yourself to maybe get some batteries, which he hasn't done, I'm kind of surprised by, because Super Battery has saved him a couple of times. There we go. And allow that upgrade to finish too.
The single High Templar. The single High Templar made purely for this Raven, by the way. And we saw how well it worked out on Death Aura. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a dance, a little bit of a tango between those 2 units. And we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Last time Drogo hit that instant feedback. Unfortunately, wasn't able to take the game the whole way off the back of that. And we do see a big push coming right now from Drogo. He's not going to commit too heavily. Doesn't want to overextend here and lose any of his key units. Second Forge on the way down right now here for Drogo as well. We do see more and more tanks continuing to be produced, as you said, Ben. Going up to 5 now, and Viking production in full swing here for HeRoMaRinE.
Yeah, Drogo's doing quite a lot of right stuff. He wants to be posturing aggressively to force the siege ups as far away as possible. He's also getting this run by going, and
Ooh,
the one High Templar
down.
did die. Warps in another one immediately.
Shame on you, for me twice, shame on me. Oh, this is a big run by here. These zealots have just found so much damage to Muslim. Oh my god, that's almost every probe in the natural going down, SCV even. 18, 19, 20, this is huge right now. Exactly what Drogo needed. He now has a 30 worker lead, and he just needs to hold on at the front. If I am Drogo right now, I'm throwing down a load of batteries, and I am just focusing on my survival as the fight comes in.
HeRoMaRiNE's trying to flank from the top line, but he's running very far away from his tanks here, so the tanks aren't actually helping with the fight at all. And granted, he did just lose a lot of his economy, but was this fight a bit too ambitious here? I'm not sure.
The force fields did a phenomenal job of keeping HeRoMaRiNE out, and HeRoMaRiNE was able to just take that northern fight. And Drogo right now pulls ahead massively, looking like he wants to take this all the way to a game 5. Another Colossus pops out. There are a few Vikings here, sure, but the Archon number is pretty good at 3 already. Stalkers blink forward, Zealots charge forward. The Vikings firing on the Colossus, but it looks like there's just too much Protoss here. And is Drogo going to be able to push him back? Oh, I don't know. It's a very close fight. Zealots reinforcing. GG is called. We're going to map 5.
Oh, look at Drogo. He's looking so relieved, so happy with that one. And yeah, he absolutely should be. He didn't really make any errors. And that Zealot run-by that he did, man, that was a real game winner for him. And guys, right after this break, we'll be seeing who wins it out in the final map of this best of 5. Do stay tuned.
Welcome back to DreamHack StarCraft 2 Fall, where we are getting ready for our final map of the evening. Surprisingly to both of us, Drogo has taken HeRoMaRinE to map 5. We are 2-2. I am joined by Benjamin the Muslim Baker once more. Benny, this has been a lot better and a lot closer than I kind of expected.
Yeah, definitely. Drogo is definitely stepping it up a lot. The first couple of games maybe had me a little bit worried. The Oracle loss on Death Aura, I was like, oh no, is this going to be 2-0 and like be really swift? But no, Drogo just showcased that he can play very, very solidly. He did everything right against that kind of tank push style. And I just hope for HeRoMaRine's sake that he didn't, what's the word? Take his opponent too lightly.
For now, our player in the bottom left of Pillars of Gold, representing Razor Edge Gaming, it's PtitDrogo.
And spawning over in the top right-hand side, playing for Team Mouse Sports, it is HeRoMaRiNE.
Now, here on Pillars of Gold, neither player is going to throw it all on the line and go for any proxies or any massive shenanigans to start us off. Of course, we never know what's coming down the pipeline here. At DreamHack Masters, we could be in for a pretty electric game once again. Pillars of Gold is a map I actually really like. For disruptors, it's very good. There's a lot of ramps, like everywhere you look. Unless you meet in the very middle of the map, disruptors generally can be very effective.
You know, this is all I need to know about you, Grant. It's just you like maps based on disruptors, whether you can use them lamely or like whether it's good for cannon rushing. Or, you know, if there's enough dead air space for void rays and what have you.
Yeah. You've actually figured me out entirely.
Entirely. HeRoMaRiNE is going for that barracks first again. So this time though, Marine. I like this. I like this because he has been showcasing that he's just willing to go barracks first every time. And there's a lot of HeRoMaRiNE games available on display because he streams so much. And the games that Drogo's shown so far, he's pretty much always going for the Nexus first as well. So mixing it up and a reactor immediately after too.
So what do you make of this? Where do you think this is going from your expertly trained eye, Ben? Because I haven't got a clue.
Well, I'd love to pretend I know exactly where this is going, but you know, there's so much deviation in StarCraft 2. This could definitely be getting the reactors super fast to get a lot of Marines to do like a tank push or something. It could also be just getting enough Marines out, doing a Widowmine drop and just playing very, very standard. Like, Innovation kind of coined this build a while ago. But it's definitely a little unorthodox. Maybe HeRoMaRiNE just feels that there's no point getting the Reaper against this man. He's always getting a shield battery, and I kind of know what he's going to go for anyway. Yeah,
that's a very good point. The Reaper has never really made anything happen, and the Adept has always been frustrating, if nothing else, forcing out the bunker, which this time Gabe does not need to pick up because of this Reactor Marine following. He's able to skip that stage. This command center is going to be fully defended here. This Adept probably won't let the shade complete now. With 5 Marines soon to be out, the CC will finish in perfect timing here for Gabe. So already for Gabe, that's something that Drogo's tried to mess with every game, and this time Gabe has adjusted.
Yeah, if you're at home wondering, like, you're writing down all these builds, and you're thinking, well, how come we didn't build a bunker here? And how come we did it on every other map? It's because of this ramp right here. So you obviously need vision to shoot up it. And somebody might be like, well, you can just keep shooting depth, man. It's not super duper viable to do that. And in StarCraft 2, you want to cut all the corners you can do. So the fact that he didn't make a bunker, it means that his third base is going down sooner. He's also getting out the Cyclone to be defensive in other ways. It's just nice little corners to be cut. And if you look at Drogo on his side of the map, he went for the shield battery and his mineral line again to deflect in the main base. To deflect that Reaper early on. The Reaper was never made, so these are little mind games that HeRoMaRiNE has sold his opponent on that never happened.
Blink on the way once again. The Robo has completed here for Drogo. So this is the opening he's fallen back on the last couple of games, and this is where he's been able to pick his victories up, is based off of this opening. We should see him move out to take a third very shortly. It's probably collecting the money to do so as we speak. Meanwhile, Gabe adding on just that one eBay. There's a couple of extra racks and continuing tank production, playing as he has too. And it looks like we're going to see at least from our eyes for now. A pretty similar game to what we have seen in the last few, and it's up to Gabe to execute better, or Drogo to do the same and take the series.
Yeah, I'm more worried for Drogo this game than I was in the previous ones, purely because he's been getting like 4 gases before taking his third, which is a little unusual. Usually indicates that you're going to be going for a Robotech and what have you. So upon scouting this and seeing the third base and the same opening, he's like, well, damn, my third base is really late this game. And, he's probably going to have to look to deal some damage to kind of slow HeRoMaRinE down.
He's going to throw down his third on location. Of course, Gabe still needs to fly over, but really he's already producing SCVs and getting things going here. Stimmen +1 on the way here for Gabe. Forge is on the way here for Drogo. The Observer did go down to a scan, so a nice pick up there to deny any more scouting. And the follow-up is okay, it's the starport just coming down now because it's free CC. We know this, Grant. Gas is being added right now by Gabe, and Drogo is pushing out a few units, but I mean, it's a pretty tough position to break.
Yeah, it really is. Like, the amount of bio that he's got alone is kind of tough. Walking up this ramp into like the tank shots and whatever, you might be able to get some Marine. I thought he was going to maybe go for the Cyclone there.
Cyclone, yeah.
Yeah, the Marine's definitely a good pick off and do what he can. That Observer on the high ground, it saw the Cyclone coming and was like, did you spot me? Turns out, no, he didn't.
Tech Lab going back on to the factory here. So tank production will we'll start again here from HeRoMaRinE. Drogo has got Colossus already on the way. Extended thermal lamps also. Nice blink play here from Drogo, just catching a unit where he can, slowing down that eventual push that Terran players like to make towards the third. And if he can force a siege up, this is always so nice as a Protoss player.
Yeah, Drogo's getting what he can done. Like, these Stalkers, if they can not take any damage whatsoever, picking off a unit here and there, it just means it's one less unit to deal with later on. So getting something done out of nothing, it's definitely nice play. Drone, or rather the probe count versus the SCV count, is definitely in a decent spot for HeRoMaRinE. But Drogo is still increasing his probe count. And he's getting everything that he has been doing in the previous games as well, getting the Templar Archives now and went directly into Colossus Tech.
Stalker's going to move forward, try and get an SCV. They will get one, just the one, and blink away. But that's nice. It didn't cost them anything except some shields. We can see Colossus Tech is now really rolling. A second one about to pop out. Templar Archives on the way. Most likely for that one High Templar to start things off that we've been seeing Drogo go for. But HeRoMaRinE this game did not make a Raven. Do we like that, or what do you think then?
I think Drogo's done a real good job of kind of shutting down the Raven plays with the High Templar usage.
Yeah.
Also, if we just go by what's happened in the previous games, without the Raven, this push has come quite a bit sooner and just quite a bit heftier with like Vikings and stuff as well.
Yeah, you did say earlier today that the Raven kind of slows the game down a little bit, and it felt like that's what happened when he made it, right? The push came a bit later, as there was usually 3 Colossus instead of just 2. This game, it doesn't look like Gabe is going to be pushing out like immediately. Oh no, as I say that, he does bring his army together in a very Gabe-like style, and will probably start pushing out. There we go. Thanks, Gabe. Prism on the way here from Drogo, and this is what won in the last game. This Prism, the Zealot run by, this is almost a mirror of the last game, minus the Raven. Drogo's going to go out and meet him in the map, and if he can catch him with his pants down, as he has previously done, this could end up being pretty rough.
Yeah, I like HeRoMaRinE. Oh, he does have a bit of a late siege here. There are force fields on the tanks, but that kind of means that the Zealots can't attack them. Those were nice force fields, though. Yeah, nicely scooping them, so the Colossus got to pick them all off, and that's a decent start to Drogo's defense. But
Prism
the thing is,
on the prowl as well here, Ben, towards the east. Does look like Gabe is falling back, though, which is going to be nice here. The Prism maybe could hold up a little bit. It has now stopped. We can see behind this more High Templars coming in. Archons looking like they'll be added to the fray. Yeah, that is the case, as we have no Storm. +1 armor completing soon, and that's very effective with these Zealot run-bys. Once you get +1 armor, they just don't bloody die. Prism loading up. It looks like it's going to go into the main. I really like this from Drogo.
And what do you think about the Vikings from the double starport and the Ghosts as well? Where do you see this game going, Grant?
Gabe's getting a very, very good army. It's tough to call. Upgrade's pretty even. It's going to come down to the fight. It's going to come down to positioning. It probably depends on how much damage Drogo's able to get here, is what I'm going to make my decision on. It's looking like he's committing to a lot.
That is a very nice, healthy warp in, and, you know, they get in there. But that is a nice choke by HeRoMaRinE using his buildings against PtitDrogo. Supplies are very much in Drogo's favor, or rather HeRoMaRiNE's favor, but that's a nice recall getting out of there.
Yeah, saved a lot of his units, killed 5 SCV, bought himself a lot of time to try and secure this 4th base in the slightly forward position on the high ground. And more High Templars coming in. The Archon count is going to be at 7. That's a lot of Archons. Zealot count is very healthy at 20. They do have +1 armor. Ghosts are out, but we don't have any enhanced shockwave, so the EMPs for Gabe need to be on point.
That is so many Vikings in the sky. Like, these Colossus are not going to be alive for a long period of time.
Does he have enough for the Archons? That's my concern. The Archons and the Zealots.
We're going to see. I do like how he's using his Vikings. He's leaving them to fight the Colossi. He pulled all the boys. This is a massive fight. The Archons just sat in the back and hold position. I don't know what they were doing there, trying to keep out of range, but it's still so much Protoss alive. And HeRoMaRinE, he controls the top of the ramp with still a massive squad of bio. But look at this massive concave that Drogo's got ready for him.
Yeah, the Archons, as soon as they close the distance, offer so much damage across such a wide area here. And all of the SCVs that were pulled have now gone down. This is army versus army. EMP goes off on the top side, but really it doesn't get too much. The Medivacs are under Archon fire here. It's starting to go down the blink forward. The Archons move forward. Is there enough right now for Drogo? He has a slight supply lead, but it is quite slight. It looks like he's going to be able to take it. He storms forward. He takes down HeRoMaRiNE's army, and GG! Drogo advances.